Now, you'll remember that this nut has a bit of super glue, a bit of sandpaper shimming it up underneath, and but we've also made the frets much higher, so we need to add even more to that. And people complain about shims, and I really don't think that there is anything wrong with that, as long as you use the right material. Sandpaper, I've got no problem. Paper comes from trees, and the grit actually makes it stronger and more stable. I prefer using, however, veneer, and in this case I'm using a bit of mahogany, because why not? Now I'm just going to clean the bottom of the nut with my leveling beam. Just make sure there's no glue on that. And while I'm about it, actually, the side as well. Because, yeah, there we go, that's getting there. Yet another use for leveling beams. They really are superb bits of kit. Okay, that's quite nice. So, oh, there's no glue in that bottle. Aha! It's hidden. We obviously use far too much super glue. Alright, there we go. So, super glue there. 'Cause I fancy it, spray accelerator on the bottom of the nut, and essentially push that down. Now, you can't argue with adding wood underneath a nut, because that is what the guitar is made out of. We're not introducing some random change in tone or sound or something like that. We are using more of the correct material just to make it higher. So, yeah, I, if necessary, have no problem with using wood, as long as it is well glued and attached and fitted nicely. So hopefully that super glue's cured enough. Cut the excess off. Now, I fully expect this to now be a fraction too high. When we get to that point, I will make the nut slots a little bit deeper if necessary. So there we go, nice little shim, and yeah, this should really go into a vice to do this. Excuse me. Ooh. Grain direction. So, put the nut in, make sure it's all fitting properly. Now, this is a half pencil. Cut your pencil in half, make sure it's nice and sharp. i.e. the lead goes right down to where it's been cut in half. And if you run that along the top of your fret, it'll show you where the lowest point your string should be, which in this case is about there, which means we don't need to take anything out. Those strings should be almost exactly the right height. So glue the nut in. It actually does make a rather large difference to the sound of a guitar, whether the nut is glued in or not, and how well. There we go. I'm going to round the edges over just a fraction more, because you can never have it too comfortable. It must be up. There we go. Fret end dressing file. There we go. The time has come to take the masking off the pickups and string her up again. And he misses. Wow, that's interesting. Okay. So those are locked in place, but the thumb screws were right at the bottom. How interesting. Okay, leave that there. And let's get strung up. 10 to 46, regular slinky. Now, I am expecting to have to raise that up a bit, but we'll get there when we get there. Let me just clean the headstock off a little bit. When you have a guitar at this level of undress, it always helps to double check everything. Make sure the tuning nuts are all nice and tight, and all of the above. Kelly does have a fantastic tech who also does all of this sort of stuff, but it never hurts to check. Oi, concentrate. I wrap it around twice and put it through. And there we have it. Wrap it around twice, put it through above the winds, and there we have it. Some slight variation there. This is the test. Okay. I haven't checked to see if I've matched the action yet, but no buzzing. I should have learned a Stereophonics riff, shouldn't I? Okay. Now, it's working. I'm going to fiddle about with the intonation a little bit. That's a completely different video. I am going to double check quickly all of my measurements because I want the action and the relief and all of that to be the same as when the instrument arrived. And considering I've added some height to the frets, that's going to be slightly problematic. Anyway, before I do any of that, there is something that offends me greatly. Strings at the headstock, just flailing around all wildly. Okay, my notes. Come on. Okay, I am going to have to cut some nut slots now. Fun times. That one's very, very close. Spot on. That's high. I've got the nut down slightly high, but more even, and the relief is slightly wrong. So essentially, let's set the relief using the truss rod. Right, I think we're there. That's good. This must not be particularly scintillating viewing. And that's good. We have the same setup that the guitar came in with. So, to all intents and purposes, we're pretty much finished. I'm going to put the truss rod cover back on, double check quickly my nut, because I've left that a little bit high, I think. Although with changing the relief, I might have it. And then comes the hunt and see if through adjusting this stuff we have introduced any buzzing or anything like that. No, we're good. Let me find my, that's the one. Now on my customs I tend to go lower at the nut than this. But if it's comfortable for Kelly, hell. Let me tune again. Well, there we have it. This has been a very, very interesting project. A guitar is a guitar is a guitar, no matter who plays it. But when that musician is somebody like Kelly Jones, who I admire and have followed for years, you know, I'm not going to go all fanboyish now. It does add something interesting to it. And the fact that it was Kelly's favorite guitar, I know he has hundreds of guitars. I want to build him one now. But the fact that it was #1, that just adds a little bit of interest to the mix. Anyway, all set up as it was when it arrived in action, and at least the feel is going to be different. It's got new frets, it's de-nibbed, etc. But I sincerely hope that you know, I have managed to do the instrument proud. And I hope that you've managed to learn something in the process. Thank you very much for watching. Please check out the other videos for bits that might have been glossed over, or if you want more information, ask us questions in the comments. We answer these things in the podcast, and I have made many, many videos. Check them all out. Various bits and pieces of information on guitar building in general. But basically, click like, click subscribe, and thank you very much for watching. Have an excellent day. I am off. I'm off to deliver some guitars. Have a good one. Goodbye.